Brother Jeannie, man, this time is going so fast. If we have time and we can take just a little bit more time, I want to work the callers in, but I just had a few more questions I do need to ask because I promised some of the sisters that wrote in that I'd ask. You're talking about removing homosexuals and pedophiles from power. Let's start with relationships. What are the symptoms or the key to a sister recognizing that her man just may be on the down low?
All right. Well, brothers and sisters, because I'm not on the down low, I'm going to have to talk about things that I've heard that sisters have shared with me. And so I'm going to say some things. Some of them are graphic, rather disgusting, but I'm not saying it for the purpose of being disgusting. Just want to help you out. Some of the things sisters have said that they've seen, one thing I would say is a telltale sign. If you're dealing with a man and he wants you to put your finger or any other type of apparatus in his behind, and I know for some people that probably sounds outlandish and like, why is he saying this? We would be surprised at some of the things that people are involved in today. If you have a man who is aroused by you sticking something inside of his behind, that is a good indication he may be on the down low or low down or involved in this white sex homosexual misbehavior. How else might you know? If you have good sensibilities about a man, if you notice him having the same things to say about a man or looking at a man the same way you look at a man or the way a man looks at a woman, it's a telltale sign as well. It happens a lot, but what happens is many times women ignore it because they just can't believe the man could possibly be involved in that kind of behavior. But if you see a man cutting his eyes and looking a man up and down, there's only two reasons a man will do that. Either he's jealous of the man and he's looking because he's looking at envy, or he's a homosexual. And you can't accuse people of this, but we just talk about some of the signs and symptoms. For the pedophiles, be very cautious. If you find a man who doesn't have a girlfriend, who doesn't have women friends, because sometimes brothers like to have more than one friend or sister, but he likes to be around children a lot. And many times not even his own children. It does not make him a pedophile, but it's a suspicious behavior. Particularly if you have a man who has children and does not have a really good relationship with his children. His children are cold and not warm when they're around him. But then you find him constantly being around children, whether it's being coaches for games, whether it's being just involved in things that have them to be close around children. And you can see that same thing for women as well, brothers. That's something to watch out for. For the brothers, some of the things brothers need to look out for. How do you know you might be dealing with a sister who's a lesbian? If no matter what the discussion is, she finds a way to make it a male-female debate, you have to be very cautious. Many times you're dealing with a lesbian. There's something, the lesbian mentality is what we call feminism. That's the mentality of a lesbian. The physical aspect of that mentality is what we call lesbianism, females being with each other sexually. If you're with a sister who's always anti-male, always got negative stuff to say about males, but always positive about women, and women are always right all the time, and she has a lot of girlfriends, and they go on these trips, they go to the Bermudas and all these places, they love being with their girlfriends a lot, be very suspicious of that. In the past, it wouldn't have been suspicious at all. You'd be happy because they give her a chance to talk to somebody who she can talk to. These days, you have to be very cautious because these women are into some very peculiar and bizarre types of behaviors. Sisters, if you find a man who spends an abnormal amount of time around effeminate kind of guys, meaning, most men do not hang around homosexuals. But even if not homosexuals, most men don't hang around very, 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 very weak men. They tend to have, even if they have a friend that's weak or two, they got one or two friends, you know who they are. They kick it with them, and they pretty much, that's what they do. They don't have all these different guys they with. If you meet a man and he's got all these friends and he's constantly talking about all these different buddies, he's buying them cakes, he's buying them clothes, he's doing things that just normally you don't expect a man to do. It's a great potential that he's involved in some other kind of behavior. That potential is definitely there. If you have a man who is highly exploratory, and that's all he ever wants to do is explore, Or a woman, brother, if you're dealing with a sister, and all she wants to do is with this exploratory sexual stuff, all kind of toys and all kind of stuff. And you notice that they're always asking you to take things to the next level and go to a different place. They may be trying to lead you down the road to trying some of this sexual freakishness, 3 or 4 different types of people and all this kind of stuff, and lead you into that white sex kind of world. These are some of the things that happen. Now, this one I'm going to say here is not one that tells you a person is a homosexual pedophile. It does not. But it is something to be concerned about. If a person you're dealing with is addicted to pornography, because the thing about pornography is the doorway to white sex. Meaning you don't have to even have been sexually abused. If you get into pornography and you're watching it enough, it's a baseless sexual interaction between individuals. And invariably, it deals with multiple males with females and multiple females. And there's homosexual, lesbian type of stuff involved with it. You're dealing with a person that's addicted to this stuff, then it means they've already stretched their mind enough to at least consider and see this stuff. You have to ask yourself, how far have they gone with it? And the best way to do it, I'm going to just tell people, if you really want to know who you're dealing with and what they're dealing with and how far they see things sexually, this is a strategy to use. What happens is when you meet a person, most times what we do, we put, the honest people, we try to put who we are out on Front Street. As it relates to sexuality, the safest way to do it, don't say what your opinions are about sexual things. Don't be right out there how you feel about everything. Talk to the person and see where they are with everything. Let them talk to you, because if they feel free to tell you about their sexual explorations and what they think about sexuality, you'd be shocked at some of the things they will tell you, because so many of our people are accepting of this stuff. This guy will tell you, well, I've been with a guy sometime, but he'll tell you that if he feels like you're not going to criticize him and think he's a homosexual. He's not going to tell you that if you're comfortable to hear what he has to say. So I know on the one hand, we want to be clear we're not with this, but if you're a sister and you like a brother, but you have some strange ideas, what you got to do, I'm just telling you, sometimes you have to stop talking so much and listen. And be open to hear whatever that person has to say, and then they'll begin to tell you who they are. And if you're a brother, you can definitely get that out of the women if you know how to stay quiet and just listen and let the woman talk and don't give all your opinions up front. You can get to who you're dealing with and where they are sexually, and that'll help you make some of those decisions. I hope that's been kind of helpful to your question, brother.
Well, that's very, very important, what you said, and I think it's most helpful. I would like to get you to elaborate on just one other front, and that is how to tell when you are dealing with a man who may molest your young daughters or young girls or boys, or on the other hand, if you're a brother and you're trying to enter into a relationship and deal with a sister who may have been molested. Unfortunately, many of our sisters have been molested. Either way, could you deal with that a little bit before we take our call?
Sure. Okay, if you got a sister and you trying to find out how a man feels about children, one of the things you do, and again, this is perception. Any man that you watch that sees a child go by, a 13, 14-year-old girl, if he looks at her the same way he would look at a grown woman go by. And again, you can't let him know that you're looking. But if you watch these things, you act like you're not watching, but you watch these things when you meet somebody, they usually will show you that. Or they will make comments that are inappropriate related to children, forgetting that you're talking about a child. So you have to listen, because men who target children tend to show that they feel that way by accident because it's in them. So they'll show a little girl will walk by with some tight jeans and he'll look at her, instead of saying, man, look at these, they got these little girls walking around like this. It doesn't make sense. He won't say that. He'll just be looking and then he'll turn away. And then he'll look back and cut his eyes back. You're dealing with a dude that's real slimy and sick that he would find that kind of attraction in a child. If you're dealing with a guy that always wants to be around your daughter when you're not around, that doesn't make a whole lot of sense, because men can like a child. But unless he's a very studious type of the guy that you know what he's doing is teaching her about books or debating her about things to try to elevate her mind, men don't have that kind of interest in teenage girls and teenage. It's just not. It's something very bizarre. If your child cringes up or has an uncomfortable feeling around a male that you're around. That's an instant sign that many of us don't pay attention to. Children have good instincts. And if they feel like if they tell you something, you're not going to believe them, they're not going to tell you and things can happen. Whereas if they feel like you're like, look, anybody that comes in this house, if they do or say anything, I don't care who it is. If your uncle, your father, whoever, you let me know you're feeling uncomfortable and I'm not going to side against you. If you let them know that, then a lot of times they'll tell you. And a lot of times girls do tell their parents stuff. You just don't notice. Like a little girl will say, I don't like him. He coming over. I don't like him. I don't want to be here. Why is it she don't want to be here if he's coming over? There's something to that. And sisters need to keep your ears open to kind of hear that. Usually your children will tell you before they actually get raped or violated. They'll tell you if you talk to them and if you listen to them before something happens. How do you tell if a person has been sexually abused? Honestly, the best way to do that is I would tell everybody the predators in our midst. We've actually put it out for free now through the internet. We emailed it out so that you can get that. If you can get that predators in our midst and watch that, that will give you a lot of instructions, more than what I can say on the radio right now. But one of the things I would say is the best thing to do, honestly, is talk to people. What that video helps you do is understand the pain that people deal with sexual abuse, what they go through, the fact that they blame themselves and they think it's their fault, even though it wasn't their fault because maybe they enjoyed the feeling, so they were manipulated. If you understand how pervasive it is and what's going on, then you can actually ask your partner, or be quite frank with you. You don't have to even ask them. Once you are educated about what child sexual abuse is going on in the black community, and once you're sensitive to that and know how to say, hey, it wasn't your fault, and you're sensitive to the potential of it existing, then the person will likely tell you because you're open for it. It will come up when the R. Kelly thing comes up. If you make a comment like, once you're comfortable with somebody, you know what, man, I think it's really wrong what he did to that little girl. It's not acceptable. Then that lets that person know, hey, this person doesn't like this happen. And if you are saying things that show that you have a consideration to people who've been sexually abused, your partner, the sister or the brother you're dealing with, will come out and say, yeah, that kind of happened to me too. My number one suggestion would be for people, get the predators in our midst. You can buy it on our website, or you can get it for free. We've sent it out through email. You email us at liberation@warnhorizon.com. That one is so important for our people. We actually send it out for free. We'll email it to you. You can download it to your computer. Watch it with your children. Watch it with your partner, and you won't have to say anything. It'll come out because it's the kind of product that's designed to help our people with healing from this kind of problem.